Good afternoon. You are now entering Sapo Studios. Frogs and species of all kinds are welcome. Fasten your seatbelt. You are in for quite a ride. Initiating Scratch Track Saturday in 5, 4,
3, 2, 1. Anonymous. Saturdays.
Hello, everybody! Welcome to Sapo Saturdays Scratch Track Sessions. You got ya, boy, ASAP Froggy. We've got the one, the only, Bingus Frog.
Ribbit, y'all.
Welcome to the session, y'all. We are happy to have you back here in my kitchen in the beautiful Burbank, California.
That's right, cooking up omelets and beets on a regular basis. Welcome. Thank you for being with us on this beautiful Saturday. We are Sapo Studios. Our goal is to bring the majority of profits and ownership rights back into the hands of musicians. We operate under the umbrella of the Notorious Frog NFT project, aka Frogland. Do your own research, but get involved. We have plans to unveil a marketplace where you can buy and sell stems and do a whole lot more. But until then, we're chatting it up with artists and talking to them about music, life, and NFTs every Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here on Twitter. If you're in the room, please retweet the room. We'd love to have some more guests. Today, we have a very special guest.
I'm excited
Troy
for this
Sawyer. Welcome, Troy.
Oh, it feels good to be here.
What's up?
Yeah, man, so happy to have you. You know, Music NFTs, who is your cousin, he is a devout listener of ours, and we so appreciate that. I rarely open the space and don't see him here, and we love that kind of support, and was so excited to promote anyone that, he had to send our way, because all we want to do is show that love back. So happy that you're here and that we can make this happen.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, man. So you are a trumpet player from New Orleans. When did you start playing music? Were you a kid or did you start later? Because I know, based on your bio, that you kind of put together your band after Katrina, right?
Yes. And so, I've been playing music for quite some time. So I started as a kid. Growing up in New Orleans, you can't help but to pick up an instrument. Everyone plays an instrument in New Orleans. And so, it's the birthplace of jazz. So the first instrument I picked up was in pre-K, was violin. I played the violin for a couple of years, and I wasn't really feeling the violin. And I told my mom, I said, "Mom, I'm not feeling the violin." She was like, "Okay, which instrument you want to play next? Do you want to play another instrument?" I'm like, "I do, but I don't know which instrument I want to play next." And so one night during Mardi Gras time, Mardi Gras pops off in New Orleans, and they had this band marching down the street, and I heard this instrument. I was like, "Oh man, I love the sound of that instrument." So it's the trumpet. So I picked up the trumpet in 4th grade, and I've been playing the trumpet ever since.
Wow.
That's awesome. And I know that, I know only from watching television shows and movies that, something that kind of coincides with the music scene in New Orleans is this kind of showmanship that goes along with it, where people dress up, and it's almost like that parade essence is always there. Was that kind of part of your whole scene as well, or were you just into the music?
Well, it's a mixture of the showmanship of, because Louis Armstrong was the showmanship. He was an entertainer. So, you got the streets, they got the brass bands that actually popularized, basically playing a lot of popular music in the brass band, like funky way. So, it's a mixture of everything, because a lot of people, they just see stuff on TV, and when they come to New Orleans, they want to see the old New Orleans. Right. There's a lot of new stuff happening, a lot of great music coming out of this city that the whole world is feeling. That's progressive, that's developing, really new cats coming up with some new music, some creative stuff,
So once you transitioned over to trumpet, which you decided was an instrument that you had, a passion for and you did love, at what point did you decide, okay, I'm ready to go out and start performing? Because that's a big step, especially for an instrument like trumpet, which I guess in New Orleans is, it's less unusual to see a trumpet player go and join a band and perform live. But most of the time, you don't see trumpets in bands necessarily, unless you're leaning into that jazz scene and stuff like that. So what kind of gave you that confidence? Was it the fact that you do come from a family of musicians and there was always that support behind you, or what was it really?
Well, in New Orleans, majority of the people that play brass instruments or wind instruments, you grew up seeing the brass bands on the streets of New Orleans. And so it's like that was always something cool to do where you actually doing second lines in New Orleans where people follow the brass band, which stems from the jazz funerals. And so we know when someone dies, we celebrate that person's life by having jazz funerals. So, it was always like as a kid growing up and seeing how a brass band could formulate and put these pieces together and like move people all over the city to where it's like, I want to actually be in a band like that. And so I was a part of this brass band when I was, I guess, junior high school. And we were out there just performing. Anywhere we could perform, we just performed just on our sidewalk, just playing. And then it was my first gig was at the Zulu Club, which is like a big social and pleasure aid crew in New Orleans. And so like we played for like 15, 20 minutes and we all got like $50. I'm like, oh man, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Money's rolling in. This is the life.
Oh man, I'm like, this is where it's at. There are people working at McDonald's don't even get what we got in 30 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, shit, if you can make that happen on a regular basis, that's the dream, right?
Oh man, it is, man. And so like the one thing about New Orleans is that we're like entrepreneurs. We are born to be entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. It goes back to like I just found out that the slaves, especially the women, specifically the women, African slaves in Treme, which is the oldest black community neighborhood in America, that they came up with this collage, which is similar to the beignet, which is basically a fried dough. You put some polished sugar on it, but they came up with collage, and they would sell their collage to actually buy their freedom, raise money to buy their freedom. I just found that out like about a month.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, you come to New Orleans, and anyone who comes, you will see people selling something, they're performing. And so like we natural born hustlers and entrepreneurs. And so it's all about trying to bring the business into play, especially with music in New Orleans, is that we don't have the business down here. So we have the talent, and that's why majority of us have to go elsewhere where the business is, so we can monetize and control our artistic, creative projects to make some money and like maximizing the potential of making money. And that's why I love to be on this platform to get more informed about the NFTs. My cousin, he has been telling me about NFTs and some other virtual world. I'm like, man, this is like, beyond what I'm trying to do right now, but I understand that's where it's going. So he is educating me on the NFT world and some other things that he has going on. So I'm so glad that I have a family member that's on that level to where I can still focus on the music and he can just chime in and make some other things happen.
Yeah, and I think that it's you're absolutely correct that it is the next thing that's happening and it's the direction things are moving. But I think also not only from that money making point of view, it's also connecting people in a very new way and giving people opportunities and especially musicians and things of the like to collaborate with people all over the place and gain the kind of exposure that they never got before. I mean, the people that we've met in this space, the talent that's out there is extraordinary, and so many of these people have not had that light shown on them. So, which is wild, and we feel so privileged to have you and everyone else come through our show that maybe doesn't have the kind of notoriety that they deserve yet, and we're hoping that we can help provide that notoriety. But it's interesting that you mentioned Treme, because I don't know if you've seen the show, but that's actually literally the show I was thinking of when I was thinking of New Orleans. It was a show on HBO, I believe, and it really, from what I understand, nicely showcased what New Orleans is actually like, and it was a very sad show at the same time as it was beautiful. But it really captured that essence of the music scene, and that's what I was thinking of when I was thinking of that. Those big costumes and the love of the music and parading out in the streets. Have you seen that show?
Oh, of course, yeah. And so, like, talking about those big costumes, so those are the Mardi Indians, and so those are called suits, because if you call them costumes, they'll
I apologize.
Upset. Oh. Look. No, because like a lot of people have to be educated when they come down here and they see, I love those costumes, and know they're called suits. And so that's what the Migrant Indians got to play with them a lot. And that's one thing, and I've traveled all over the world with Mardi Gras Indians. It's one thing that they educate people about, that those are called suits, and during Halloween time, a costume.
Actually, let me ask you a question with regards to that then, because I know that, since the rise of like Coachella and these festivals like that, you've got all of these people that are basically appropriating culture and wearing these huge Native American headdresses and things like that, but not out of respect for the culture, but because they think it, makes a great Instagram photo.
Right.
How do you walk that line of not being Native American but wearing those Native American suits, and having the respect of that community to do so? Is it just by virtue of the fact that if you take the music seriously and that's recognized, then it's you're not kind of making fun of or appropriating the culture, or how does that work?
So the Mardi Gras Indians, they're African American, they're masked as Native, and so during slavery, the Native American accepted the African slave as their family. So that's when culture exchange started happening between Native Americans that were enslaved. And so later on, especially when the Africans free, they would give the Native Americans honor and praise for doing so by masking as Native Americans because of that culture exchange. So now you see that Mardi Gras Indians, they mask, they come out on St. Joseph Day around Mardi Gras time, but they basically giving honor and praise to the Native Americans for doing so, for helping them out during that time, for treating them as equal, for treating them as humans during the time of slavery.
That's beautiful, and what a thing to continue to celebrate, as people play that music through the streets and give that life to that culture. That's awesome.
Right. And a lot of people don't know the history behind the Mardi Gras Indians. They just see the suits like, oh, they're so beautiful. Let's take a picture with them. And then, we can get some likes on Instagram. But they don't understand the history. And that's one thing in New Orleans. We have a lot of deep history that's connected to Africa, that's to Europe, all those places, the Haiti, South America that's why we have this dish that's popular called gumbo. And gumbo represents New Orleans with all the different types of cultures and flavors that we have. And that's why New Orleans is so special to the world.
There are two things that I've been dying to do. One is go to Mardi Gras, and the other is eat gumbo from Louisiana.
I've never been there. And
not just Louisiana, eat gumbo from New Orleans.
Yeah. Yes, from New Orleans specifically.
Sure. I think that's got to be on our next.
We got to make it out there,
list,
especially having this music platform now. We got to check out that music scene.
Yeah, we got to go hang out with Troy, man. Do a live jam session out there.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, man. Straight up, the music scene is vibrant in New Orleans. It's like the one thing is that go away, they always come back to get reconnected. John Baptiste came in town for Jazz Fest. And he's been down here ever since to get reconnected. He was jamming all over the place because he had to get reconnected to his soul and to his hometown. And then you create and go about and spread the good news to the world. Right. And that's what Louis Armstrong taught us when he left New Orleans to go to Chicago. And then from Chicago, New York, and then to the world, to Europe, and then the world. You know what I mean? And so, people follow that path of understanding that there's so much talent in New Orleans. The business is not down here, so we have to branch off and travel elsewhere. Then when, of course, you leave your hometown and other people respect you, then your hometown people start to jump on the bandwagon.
Right.
And that's what's going on for years.
But you need to eventually go back to Louisiana and refill your cup with all the positive energy that is living there. And then, Man, I got to be there.
Well,
I got to get there.
And it's a beautiful thing that there are so many places where people want to run away from their homes and never look back, and especially with that dream of success in the entertainment industry, whether it's music or cinema or whatever. It's like, I'm going to leave home, I'm going to leave home in the dust and never look back, and I'm going to be successful, and that's that. But to have a place that you come from, that you love, that you recognize, okay, maybe I have to go someplace else to fulfill my dreams in the way that I want to fulfill my dreams, but that's always going to be home, and I'm always going to have that connection, and I need to get back there. And that's the way I feel about New York. you know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, like in New Orleans, the only stars we see are in the sky. So it doesn't matter the level that you're on. We still on the same level. Because one thing, if you put people above you, you're always going to be below them. And so I feel like growing up in New Orleans, we see all types of people come down here, and they come down here because they know that they're going to be inspired. They're going to be amongst the community, and it's going to be real. There's no fake stuff down here. There's none of that fake stuff down here. You keep it real.
Well,
and so
and what's kind of funny is that, maybe it's just me, and I'm not trying to be anti-American here, but that level of respect is less American, and you see that more from other places. And so a place like New Orleans that you're saying has such, is such a melting pot of different cultures. It's not surprising that that's where you would get that.
Right, because I remember my first time meeting Method Man was at my house. He just came, because I live in the Musicians Village, It was created after Hurricane Katrina hit, which destroyed basically New Orleans. And Harry Connick Jr. and Branford Marsalis, who are great musicians in the industry and very popular, so they came up with the concept of creating affordable housing for musicians before Hurricane Katrina hit. So when Hurricane Katrina hit, they were like, okay, we need to make a move on this concept. And then they started creating this area called the Musicians Village to bring the musicians back to New Orleans. The thing, when Katrina hit, it was that, what did we have to go home to? We didn't have any houses. Like, our houses were destroyed. The living spaces were destroyed. So they made a move of creating this village, this neighborhood, dedicated to providing affordable housing for musicians. And then in the middle of the village, there's the Ellis Marcellus Center for Music, where I can record. Anyone that lives in musicians can record their album for free. There's a big studio, big performance space. It's beautiful. Y'all should come down here and experience the Musicians Village. And by me being a part of the village, I was one of the youngest homeowners at the time. And I got a lot of attention. I did MTV Cribs, Jimmy Carter, former president, came to my house. Wow. It was through Habitat for Humanity. There's a lot of different opportunities. And before Katrina hit, I was actually in Spain. I was touring in Spain. I did the Running with the Bulls concert in Pamplona. We were having a ball. So I didn't even know that this hurricane was headed to New Orleans until I came back to New Orleans. Came back to New Orleans, I saw this hurricane category 5 headed to New Orleans. I said, Ma, I'm rolling out, I'm going. And so my family members, we all came together and decided to evacuate. And we evacuated to my auntie's house in Crowley, Texas, which now y'all know that's my my cousin's mom, which is Leon Bridges now. So we went to my auntie's house, and Leon was picking my brain about the music industry. He wasn't even into the music like that. And so I'm the big cousin that really inspired him.
Wow.
And that's when I blew, this dude just started doing open mics and performing. And he came to New Orleans, stayed by my mom's crib. He was like, yeah, man, I started doing some open mics and performing down here and some acoustic open mic type of stuff. And he was like, oh, I got to go back to Fort Worth to open up for Macy Gray. So I'm like, all right, cuz, you're doing your thing. Then all of a sudden, I went to New York. Maybe a year after that, I went to New York to do a gig. And then my sister called me up. She said, his real name is Todd. She was like, Todd just got signed to Columbia.
Wow.
What? Called him up. I said, cuz, you just got signed to Columbia? He said, yeah, it's crazy, man. And boom, now I know him as Leon Bridges.
Wow. That is unbelievable. And I want to dive into that and several other things that you said. But before I do want to hear some of your music. And I want to
let the people know who you are.
Yeah, and give the people an opportunity to hear what you do. So I know you sent us a couple of tracks. What would you like us to start with?
Let's go with Sing a Different Song.
Okay, Sing a Different Song. And is there something you want to say about this before we play it?
Oh, so this particular song was created during the height of the pandemic, where we could not go out of our houses. It was a crazy time. And so my cousin called me up, and one of my other cousins called me up. He said, man, it's crazy, man. Musicians, y'all can't even perform anywhere around the world. The whole world shut down. I said, man, everyone is singing the same song. I said, we need to sing a different song. We need to get to the point to where we're singing a different song, and just hit me. I'm like, wow, that's a great title for a song,
Yeah.
and I started developing that concept, sing a different song. And so I produced the track a couple of years ago, but I revived it. And then I was like, oh, I'm hearing this person on, which was like Ray Wembley, who was discovered Common doing Essence Fest time on the streets freestyling.
Wow.
So like Common picked him up. He was on Jimmy Fallon's show. So Ray Wembley got on it. And then I was like, I'm hearing the female vocalist. And I thought about my friend, Kaz May, and she was actually on The Voice. And she sings, phenomenal singer. I called her up like, hey, I want you on this track. And then I thought about my boy who DJs from New Orleans named DJ Rod Smooth to do some scratching on it. So everybody recorded their parts in their home studio, and we all put it together and we put it out there.
So
amazing.
you were living out somewhat of the Sapo Studios business model, collaborating from everyone, just sending their stems into each other. You know, you were living in the future, man. Back then, you were already in the metaverse, man.
Straight up.
Yeah, and that's funny because ASAP here and I we've both doxed ourselves on the show. We're both named Dave, and when we have the same thought, we call it a Dave-length moment instead of having the same wavelength. And that is the exact thought I just had.
That he was living in the future.
Well, yeah, no, that he's basically describing the whole Web3 NFT space and the like I was saying, collaborating across. Across
even the artwork for the album cover, I called up my boy who's an artist, visual artist, and he basically designed the album cover. So I'm like, that represented history of us collaborating through the madness of us not even coming together in person. And so this is a song that is very it was very organic how it happened, and it represents that point in time that we didn't know whether we were going to die, live, do whatever. It was just unknown. And so
absolutely.
Now we're singing a different song.
Right. Yep. And I love that sentiment, and that's an awesome title. So let's hear Sing a Different Song.
Be strong, hold on. So tomorrow we can sing a different song.
Man, this energy is amazing. I'm feeling so animated. Life full of color if you let it be. That desire can be fulfilled if you let it free. Do it for the good, keep it righteous in the music. Stay connected with your spirit, such a vibrant movement. Take your time, have gratitude, please enjoy the human nature interactions, love and satisfaction, fun times filled with laughter, happy ever after. I'm caught up in my passion, my optimism never cease to exist. Push the envelope, this is high as it gets. I cannot contain my expansion. Right now, I see more than what's been handed. Spread light, grant love and find bliss. Have gratitude, give joy and feel this.
Be strong, hold on. So tomorrow we can sing a different song. Be strong, hold on. So tomorrow we can sing a different song. Be strong, hold on. So tomorrow we can sing a different song. Be strong, hold on. So tomorrow we can sing a different song.
Life could be so complicated. Just want good times and celebrations. Though I'm living swell, my family fine, I'm forever thankful. Empathetic for people I know in times of danger. You got my prayers, wish I could send 100 angels. I know it's difficult, somehow this shows another angle. It's not perfect, know what you intended, but let's stick together till we see a new beginning. We can ride it out until the storm is ending, and still find value in the midst of the transition. Though the process got us fatigued, pay attention to the meaning of the lesson that's missed through the friction between those who in fear and have an opinion opposite from those in power making the decisions. Yes, the world stopped for a second telling us listen to one another for impact to make a difference.
Be strong, hold on. So tomorrow we can sing a different song. Be strong, hold on. So tomorrow we can sing a different song. Be strong, hold on. So tomorrow we can sing a different song. Be strong, hold on. So tomorrow we can sing a different song.
That was awesome.
Thanks, man. We're singing a different song now.
You're singing a different song now. Yeah, and again, I just absolutely love that sentiment. So I apologize if I missed this, but I don't think you mentioned it yet. Are you, classically trained? Did you take lessons, or did you just kind of grow up in the music community and learned from other people around you?
Like playing by ear.
Yeah, classically trained and jazz trained and all that stuff. Street trained. I got a little bit of everything. So I went to school for music. I studied music at Xavier University, focusing on performance, and then that's when I switched when I went to Southern University to music education, and then from there, graduated from there music education, and then I was just gigging, and then I decided from this organization called Artist Corps New Orleans that would get musicians that have degrees to teach at a school that didn't have enough money in the budget to pay for a full-time music teacher after Hurricane Katrina hit. And so it was cool. We teach 4 days out the week. On the Friday, we'll jam out and gig. And, we'll, get benefits and the salary. And like, all right, cool. So that's what got me into actually teaching in the school system. I've been in and out of it. But one thing my mom told me is that I got to give back to my community. So that's how I gave back through... of course, I was doing workshops before traveling around when I was touring, but like to really be in the trenches in these schools, it was a different level of giving back.
Right. And so you've talked about Katrina a couple of times. Let me ask you about that. So, you sent me your bio. It said that you started Troy Sawyer and the Elements, your trio, after Katrina hit. So. Katrina hits, everyone loses so much. The area is just absolutely rocked, and there's so much devastation. With everything around you destroyed in that way, is it like, how do you feel inspired to do anything in that vein? Is it kind of just that like the music is the one thing that couldn't be taken away from you, and that's what the only thing you had left? Like, where does that come from to start to do something in that creative vein at that time?
The one thing is that I feel like growing up in New Orleans, you have that resiliency, in the 90s where it was crazy at drive-by shootings, when Cash Money came out, No Limit came out, New Orleans was the murder capital of the world. So, down here is the whole no struggle, no progress. So that was another form of the struggle. It's like, how are we going to progress? So we will always push through, and what causes us and inspires us to push through are our ancestors that suffered worse than what we suffered. And now we're here. So we got to keep this going. And the one thing is that the pain and the suffering, that's why like you could tell like a cat that's from New Orleans that's plays, because like we come in with that pain, we come in with that purpose, and you're going to feel it through the music because of the fact that we grew up in this city that has all of that, and that's what keeps us going, keeps us creating, and inspiring.
That's really a great message for anyone if you think about it. It's like, if you really put things in perspective and think about what's going on with you, everything's relative. And I know it's easy to minimalize and say it can always be worse, but if you really think about it, it could be. and to appreciate that is something special, and to acknowledge it.
Right. And then you had a lot of people that passed away, that suffered, that died through that horrific, tragedy and natural disaster. And there was a guy that just put out a documentary about documenting the kids that went through that trauma and like how they feeling now, like all the things that they had gone through, like we forgot kids.
Yep.
And I get the name of that documentary, but he just released it like last year. I think it's called Katrina Kids. And so that was powerful to see, because we tend to forget about the kids that went through that traumatic moment.
Katrina's children, maybe?
Yeah, I think Katrina Kids or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it seems that everyone kind of neglects the kids in the future, and it's like, okay, well, we're going to worry about the world that we're living now, and when we leave, it's like, screw it. But no, the world keeps going on after you leave, and maybe don't think just about yourself.
Right.
So you talk about giving back, and I noticed that you founded this nonprofit called Girls Play Trumpets Too. So tell me a little bit about that, because that sounds like an amazing initiative.
Yeah, so like being in the system, in the charter school system in New Orleans, I recognize that they pretend like they appreciate the arts, to exploit the arts, but they really don't really value it, because it's all about testing and standardized testing. And I always say, if like the arts were connected to standardized testing, that's when they'll appreciate it more. Because
absolutely,
like, in the school system, it's all about a business. It's a capitalistic system. It trickles down to education. So I would say, like, growing up in New Orleans as a musician, I didn't see too many professional. Actually, at one point, I didn't see any professional female trumpet players.
Right.
So for a long time, I felt like women could not play on a professional level. I would see girls, at the time growing up in New Orleans playing the trumpet, but never on a professional level. Mm-hmm. So later on, there was this woman from Canada, a professional female trumpet player, came to New Orleans and played. I was like, oh, wow, they can actually play. So it broke that gender bias that I had for years. And then traveling around the world, I met professional female trumpet players, and I met a lot of women that played the trumpet, but put it down, did not pursue it. So, like I said, being a part of the school system, I was like, you know what? I have to create my own system. And my own system was creating this nonprofit called Girls Play Trumpets Too, because I want to inspire and encourage girls to play the trumpet on a professional level. And so that's what it's all about. Girls Play Trumpets Too is a 501c3 nonprofit that encourages and inspires girls ages 8 through 19 to play the trumpet on a novice and advanced level to enhance equal representation in the male-dominant music industry.
So now, this is I think a great opportunity to bring in the NFT aspect of things, because when I look at something like this, I see this as kind of the perfect opportunity to do something like that. I feel like, the best. Some of the best NFT projects are also sort of initiatives as well, mm-hmm. that are trying to do something. Mm-hmm. There's Not Your Bro, which is kind of support for the LGBTQ community, and they do a lot of stuff in terms of taking the money that they raise from their NFTs and then donating it back into other nonprofits, with respect to all of the things related to that community. So something like Girls Play Trumpets Too is something that you could ultimately turn into an NFT that I think people would love to support, something like that, because there are a lot of things that are coming and going in this space that die out as a result of the fact that crypto goes down in value or whatever. But something like this that has a message, that has a purpose behind it, that kind of thing doesn't die out. People can always support that, even in this kind of time, which is what they call a bear market, when everything is down. So that's something that we can talk to you off the air about, about how you move in that direction. I think it's definitely something you should talk to your cousin about. But outside of just, monetizing your music through NFTs, I think doing something with respect to this nonprofit and NFTs is a great opportunity to shed light on the nonprofit, to bring more funds to it. I think that's definitely a move.
Oh, that's beautiful, because I remember when my cousin came in town, and I asked him to come to the program, because I do it on a Saturday. It's every Saturday. So he came to the program, and he was basically breaking down what NFTs were, and to them, exposing them at a young age so they can understand it, and it won't be like anything foreign or beyond their way of thinking. So that was very important. But that's awesome to hear that, because to reinforce, yes, I can see it. I can see the vision of that, actually connecting the nonprofit and the movement to the NFT world. Awesome.
Yep.
Can't wait to talk more about that.
Absolutely. Listen, I want to reset the room because we have had a couple more people join, and then I want to hop into another one of your songs. So why don't you tell me, before I reset the room, what you'd like me to play next?
So the next song is called Rock Your Soul. And I created this song, I composed it, and I'm in the studio. And so I thought about this guy who's a great Zydeco artist. So Zydeco came about in the Cajun community, yeah, Louisiana. So like Zydeco is a mixture of the blues and some other Cajun type stuff. So I met this guy named Rockin' Doopsie in Paris. So when I was in Paris, he was performing, and I was just off that night. And I said, man, I love your energy, because he's like James Brown on the stage. I said, man, I love your energy. I said, maybe let's collaborate. He said, yeah, little brother, because he's a little bit older. He's like, yeah, little brother, let's hook up when we get back to the States. So, like, years pass by, we're in the States. And so I'm in the studio. I'm like, oh, I'm hearing him on this album, on this record, actually. And so he came through and recorded it. And this was a single from my album that I'm going to release on August 4th. And it turned into a movement because people love that saying rock your soul. So rock your soul means basically represents who you are. It represents basically your authentic self. It represents freedom. It represents, self-worth. So like rocking your soul is your energy. Don't compare yourself to anybody, because you can only be you. No one can be you. No one can be you. And so the Rock Your Soul song and that saying turned into a movement. Because everyone's like, I love that saying. So I said, you know what? That's going to be the name of my album. So the album is called Rock Your Soul. So this is a song that you guys are going to hear represent a lot of energy, joy, self-expression, freedom. And we're going to rock our souls forever. This is Rock Your Soul featuring Rockin' Doopsie.
That's awesome. Yeah, let's roll right into that, and I'll reset the room after the song because that was a great talk-up. This is Rock Your Soul.
ride. Your soul, we ride. We roll, we ride. Your soul, we ride. We roll, we ride. Your soul, we ride. We roll, we ride. Your soul.
Troy, my
Yes.
man.
Yeah.
You know,
rock
you rocked our
You had us
souls.
dancing. You had us
That's what I'm
dancing.
talking about.
Yeah, man, you had movement over in the Sapo kitchen. We were grooving. And,
Bro.
I mean, shit, to be dancing around and to be watching that music video with a beautiful woman traipsing through the streets, I mean, shit, what could be
man.
better than that?
Exactly, man. And she used to dance for the Pelicans. I was like, I met her. I'm like, oh man, we need to collaborate. She's like, I'm a dancer. I'm like, yes, we need to collaborate.
Yes. All right, let me go ahead and reset the room here. Thank you, everyone, for being with us. We are Sapo Studios. Our goal is to bring the majority of profits and ownership rights back into the hands of musicians. We operate under the umbrella of the Notorious Frog NFT project, aka Frogland. Do your own research, but get involved. We have plans to unveil a marketplace where you can buy and sell stems and do a whole lot more. But until then, we're jamming with artists, chatting it up with them about music, life, and NFTs every Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here on Twitter. Today, we have Troy Sawyer, who comes from New Orleans and has had a wonderful story to share with us. Beautiful music. Everything he does is with intention and heart and purpose. I love his message. And, yeah, I mean, you guys should all check him out. We just heard Rock Your Soul, which is a single that, he's releasing on August 4th that you are going to want to go and check out. It's just awesome stuff that's coming from Troy. So everyone should be looking in that direction.
You don't have to go all the way to New Orleans to experience some of the vibes. You just got to listen with your ears and turn on his music.
That's right.
And you could feel it. I mean, it changed my energy, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, no, it got me going. You know, we're tired bunch over here. We were filming a short film last night until 5 a.m.
Man.
Yeah, we were kind of dragging ass as we came into the studio today, and
that woke me up. I'm not gonna lie.
I was already excited talking to you and inspired by your story, but we heard that song, shit,
Man,
Oh yeah, man.
I'm very inspired by you and your energy, your story, your music.
Let me deviate here for 1 second because we had a request from our very own Frogland's best, Horny the Toad, who brought our last guest to us, Melanie, who was a fantastic interview. And Horny has something to say. So welcome, Horny.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Great,
brother.
man.
How are you?
Thank you for being with us.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Can you guys hear me okay? I'm out on a boat. It's hard to hear.
We can hear you, man. Horny's on a boat. Love it.
Yeah. Troy, first I want to say, man, I love the music, and that's coming from a completely different perspective, because my dad was a professional trumpet player his entire life.
Okay.
And
wow.
we're right here in the Nashville area, and that's a big country music scene.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a big demand for trumpet players around here. So I feel you when you say you had to get out of your hometown to make it big and all that. Where he did some studio work and a lot of gigs and everything. He ended up eventually going, to be a band director at schools, just like you were talking about. So I know exactly where you're coming from in a struggle. And I like your music, man. It's pretty damn cool.
Thanks.
I'm having a hard time hearing you guys. The wind's blowing, but I just wanted to chime in and say I feel you. And I was down at New Orleans right after Katrina, and you guys got hit hard. And they were asking, how did it affect you and everything. Well, one thing I'd have to say from what I've seen is blues and jazz and all that comes from pain and struggle and emotion. And I feel like that storm hit everybody hard down there, where it strengthened everybody's resolve to help each other and get things back on track. But it did the same thing for music down there, man. And y'all came back strong pretty fast.
Yeah, we did, man. And I will say, like, the pandemic caused, I guess, everyone around the world to collaborate and come together also. And so that's how it was for the storm. Everyone had to come together and help New Orleans come back, and just that whole southern region come back, man. So we came back, and then the pandemic happened. You know, we always dealing with storms because they say that this year is going to be a busy hurricane season, and you know we was blessed to actually survive last year and the year before, but it's just always that whole unknown factor of, hey, another one may be coming.
Part of living on the coast.
Yeah, but you know what? Everyone has to go through something. You know, you can run away from. You're gonna deal with earthquakes. You're gonna deal with all types of stuff, tornadoes. So
that's right.
Something.
Yeah, and I mean, shit. To quote you, Troy, something that you said today that stuck with me: "No struggle, no progress." And
right.
That's definitely true of everything that you're saying.
Right.
Yep.
All right, Horny. Yeah. Well, appreciate you coming up and speaking because we don't often get speakers. It seems we have a shy audience most of the time. So thank you for.
They're chicken shit. It's supposed to be grow some froggy balls. Come on, guys and girls.
I fucking love you, Horny. You're the man. All right, thanks for being with us. All right, so
to see too because my lady is from Memphis. So I'm always in Memphis.
Hell yeah,
Memphis fun too.
Yeah, man. I only been to Nashville like about twice, but I need to go out there a little bit more.
That's all right, man. Come hang out with you guys. It's definitely changed in the last few years.
Yeah, I heard.
Shit, what hasn't?
That's true.
You know,
that's true.
All right, so let's go ahead and hop back in here for a couple more minutes because I do want to go back to the whole Leon Bridges thing, and you know it's interesting because I was reading your bio. Saw that you mentioned that Leon was your cousin, and I love a good 6 degrees of separation. We had Simon Horrocks on our show months back. Simon is the owner of Gold Diggers Studio in Hollywood, and Leon actually went and recorded that album that he called Gold Digger Sound over at that studio boutique hotel / bar experience.
It's a really, really cool place. Very, very cool, unique studio. Yeah, that you got your hotel room upstairs.
Sorry to cut you off because I forgot to send that song. It's basically a jam session. The thing about I'm jumping around because like when you said about the studios is that like Leon and I, we just been jamming together for a minute before the world knew who he was. We had been jamming. Like I had a deal on the table with Columbia to produce a song for Adele and for Mary Mary, then it fell through, and it was just ironic how he got signed to Columbia. Then all the people like, man, that's your cousin, and they're like, man, what's going on with you? I'm like, all right, I'm working on my album, and so it's all connected. You know, we all are connected, man.
Yeah.
But I want to bring up that there's a jam session on YouTube if you want to pull it up right quick of me and Leon at Varet's, this bar on Varet's in New Orleans. If you want to just bring that up, it's a short little jam session if you want to do that.
What do I search to find it?
So it's Leon Bridges and Troy Sawyer at Varet's.
All right.
VERET apostrophe S.
VERET apostrophe S.
Yeah, VER. I think it's 2 R's.
Okay, Leon Bridges and Troy Sawyer at Varet's. While ASAP is looking that up, I don't know if we have a shy audience today outside of Horny, but if anyone else wants to come up and ask Troy any questions or make any comments, feel free to do so. He's been graceful enough to share so much of his time with us, and he's got a great story, great music, and we really appreciate having him here.
Hey, Troy, yeah, that's something else I wanted to bring up, man. You know, my pops passed in 2016, and so he never got to see any of this Web3 NFT stuff. Now, what people are telling you about the NFTs and music, please pay attention. Mm-hmm. Really, I mean, if you can't figure it out yourself, get somebody around you that can, because this is going to put the power back in the artist's hands. Mm-hmm. And with the way Web3 is spreading, it's really going to put you in front of a lot of people who wouldn't normally listen to you unless you were put on a main public platform. But people are going to check it out because you're in a new space, and just like you said, it's not about the artist. The talent's there. It's about the business, man, getting it out there in front of people so they'll know that you exist. and
Yeah.
just really, really pay attention to this. Because it's the next big thing in music, and the corporations aren't going to want to put up with it because they're going to lose a lot of money unless they figure out a way to utilize it. But you guys are going to come out so much better in the long run that it's just don't ignore it. It's there and it's going to be powerful.
Oh, definitely. I'm not ignoring it. That's why I'm here. And my cuz, he's the one that brought me to this platform of connecting with these cats. Because I know a little bit of the history, and I'm like, okay, cool, but I need to focus on creating the other things I'm doing to where I have someone that's actually advocating for that and like really doing the research and really like spearheading that part of the business, connecting the project, my musical projects to the NFT world.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll tell you something else you can do if the guys can lead you into learning how to just mint one song at a time like that.
Mm-hmm.
They'll sell. I'll buy that first one myself.
Hell yeah, and we are definitely gonna move in that direction and talk to him about all sorts of stuff that we want to get him involved in. But this is actually the perfect time to bring up NFTs because I just got one of our favorite messages to get from the Notorious Frog team, who has supported us and guided us through all of these difficult times, has been the reason that we've been able to come to you through the airwaves for the last year and provide you with some beautiful entertainment. The Notorious Frogs would love to welcome Troy Sawyer into the Notorious Frog community by giving him a Notorious Frog NFT.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to the pond.
Welcome to the pond. So happy to have Troy Sawyer as part of the Notorious Frog NFT community. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I'm so happy to be part of this community because I feel the love, I feel the passion, I feel that you guys are moving towards the future to support the art and the artists and the musicians that work hard to create beautiful music and artwork, whatever you do.
Hell yeah. And there's no one that we love to welcome into the community more than someone who has such good goals and ambitions, such heart behind everything that they're doing. And that's been really something that, again, we've been so fortunate to have is guests that are not only talented and really know the way that they do their music so well, but also have such great heart and are doing so many wonderful things in the space. So happy to have you as part of the community, and I'm gonna have to have Music NFTs help you set up your wallet so that we can get that frog over to you. And Music NFTs is actually the one that connected us today. Your cousin, so he's up here on the stage. Welcome, Music NFTs, a longtime listener of Sapo Studios.
Right.
Man, good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
First off, I want to say, Troy, I am so proud of you doing this today, man. You have no idea how happy I am. And just to bring down the point of community and things, Troy, what I always point out to you, bro, is everything that you speak about right now is the exact same thing that's happening in the NFT community. It's all about connecting with people of like minds and advancing with each other. Like everything you said, bro, everything. Every single thing you said is actually everything that's happening right now in this space. The only thing that's missing is you adding your piece to it. That's it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Shout out to Cutco for connection.
Yes, for sure.
Amen.
So I'm glad. Hopefully, and one of my goals and aspirations was having you talk to these guys today is that you hear it from a different voice. That it's not just me saying it.
Yeah, you're not just bugging him. There's some. We're real people over here, man. He didn't just trick you. He didn't pay us to tell you this stuff. We're real people over
and
here.
if you haven't checked them out already, you can. I would encourage your cousin to send you the breakdown of who the team behind Notorious Frogs are, because they are just such a powerhouse of a team with so much talent behind them. And the belief they have in what they're building is extraordinary, and they're going to do some amazing things. So, to be a part of this community, to be tied in with them in any way is very special.
Hey, we're going to have to have a caveat. You got to hide your frog in your album cover somewhere.
Yes.
Oh no, when they open up the album, it'll say Ribbit.
There you go.
There you go. There you go.
Hey, you got to commit to it. You got to commit to it.
Maybe even have the frog sitting on the end of the fucking trumpet.
There you go.
Awesome.
Hey, let me ask you a question, Troy. I have a friend that texted me, and he was saying the last song that was played he loved hearing, and he's wondering if Herb Alpert was was an influence for you. He was a trumpet player that mixed modern jazz and modern music.
Well, I would say like the people that he did not actually influence me, because I already studied him and listened to his music. I have to actually get on him. I'm going to look him up. But who the trumpet players that influenced me, if you're just talking about trumpet players, it was Lee Morgan, Miles Davis. Donald Byrd was my first trumpet. He was my mom's friend. He was a Black Panther. And my she's a retired social worker, so he was a social worker at the time. And when I was getting into actually learning how to play jazz and like dealing with the instrument, he said, "Oh, you gotta check out this trumpet player named Donald Byrd." And he gave me Donald Byrd CDs. So that was my first jazz CD. And that was the first person I really listened to. I love the fact how he fused a lot of that modern, some of that 70s funk and groove stuff into stuff he played. But it's I'm listening to all types of music, and then traveling around the world, I pick up on things and I'm like, all right, cool. How can I just blend it together and fuse it all together? So, that's how my music came about. The album that I'm dropping is called Rock Your Soul. And I say it's a fusion of funk, Latin, soul. If I just choose 3 genres, it's funk, Latin, soul. That's the one.
That's so cool, man. And it all reads in your music, and it all comes through. And again, it was very inspiring and influenced my day thus far.
Yeah, and you're definitely going to have to let us know when. Obviously we have the August 4th drop date, but if you have any promotional materials that you want us to spread out, we would love to share those through our Twitter page and get the word out, because your music is awesome. Right. And again, love your message.
Thanks. Y'all should come down for the album release party.
When is that?
I want to come to New Orleans for any party. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. August 4th.
I love it.
Dropping the album August 4th. So we're going to do the album release party, which is going to be more of family and friends, people who I already know, on a rooftop downtown. And then we're going to do a public album release concert for everybody to come to at this spot called Tippertine. It's a historical venue in New Orleans.
And that's going to be on the 4th?
And that's going to be in September. That would be in
September.
So August 4th. Yeah, September.
It's be hot down there.
Oh, yeah.
It's hot down there in September. Y'all don't understand that heat, y'all.
Yeah. Look, it's 97 degrees. It's about 90 degrees right now.
Yeah, but
you get up at 7 o'clock and you get up at 7 o'clock and take another shower at 9.
Exactly.
Change your clothes.
I'm like, why am I so funky?
Why am I so wet? Sweat your ass off. You would be
it's the kind of heat you can't escape because of that fucking humidity, which I cannot stand. Humidity.
But that's how you.
We
fill
have
your cup.
humidity, but they are living in hell in the summertime.
That's how you fill your cup.
I was there for New Year's Eve one year, and at midnight, rocking flip flops and swimming trunks, and that was it.
Right,
horny
on New Year's Eve. You
paint quite a picture, man. You're painting quite a picture.
I cannot imagine August and September down there. Good Lord, it'd kill you.
Yeah, man, it's serious.
Man, I want to party with Horny.
Everybody wants to party with Horny. Come on down to Horny Toes. I got you.
Anyway, listen.
Look, I actually I produced the song. I hadn't created in a long time because I've been dealing with a lot of stuff and just dealing with the post-production part and the business of the album. So I got in the studio a couple of days ago. I had my home studio and created this track. And the first line of the hook was, "It's hot because it's summertime because I'm feeling the heat." And I just started writing after that line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead, ASAP. I see him nipping at the butt over here.
So the album drops August 4th. Right. And then rooftop party. I love a good rooftop party. When is that? September?
So the rooftop party is going to be on August 4th.
Oh, that's on August 4th as well.
Yeah. And we perform at Satchmo Fest is that weekend. So we perform at Satchmo Fest Saturday, August 5th.
Got it. Okay.
So we keeping it going. And in September, we're going to do a big album release party with all the people that were featured on it. And, like, you know, just really go hard in the paint.
All right. Well, we'll see if we can get down there, if there's any funding to make that happen. The intention is there, but we're not making any promises.
You're learning.
Y'all going in? Oh, I'm coming down there too. Bet.
All right, listen.
Man, check with my cousin, man. My cousin will take care of y'all.
All right.
Oh, yeah. All right, Music NFTs. This one's on you, man.
All right, sweet.
He's the man. He's the man.
Hey, listen, Sapo Studios only flies first class. I hope you realize. All right. Well, I want to thank Music NFTs for connecting us because, Troy, once again, we have had just such it's been such a privilege to have such a great artist on the show, and this has been an awesome interview. I would definitely want to spend another hour or two, and I do want to have you back. But as I said, we were filming until 5 a.m. We are filmmakers as well, and it is an expo in Los Angeles.
Oh no, don't count.
Yeah, right. But
in Burbank.
But there is an expo in Los Angeles right now at Paramount Studios called Cinegear, where they're showing all of the next and best equipment in the film industry. So we're gonna head over to that expo and see what's going on over there, and we'll report back on the next Sapo show what's going on in that world. But Troy, listen, man, it has been an absolute privilege. We're gonna go ahead and play out your music with Leon. We pulled up that track of you guys jamming, and that's how we'll end the show. But thank you so much for being here with us today and giving us your time and your insights and welcome.
Yes.
And welcome to the Notorious Frog community.
I was switching over microphones at that time because we had a little technical difficulty, and I did not have the chance to say congratulations and welcome to the Frogland community, man. I'm stoked to have you as part of it. And also, we were talking before we got onto the show. We had sent you a couple tracks to maybe record on, so I definitely want to continue down that road, making music with you in some way. Just collaborate. Just whatever happens, and if something cool comes, amazing. You know.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Actually, I want to tell y'all about that track that y'all sent me. It was amazing. I love it. I love the groove of it. It was serious. I was inspired. Like, I wish I had some time to put some stuff down, but I will.
Dude, yeah, because like originally there was trumpets that we put in there that were just loops off of Splice and stuff, and I took those out. So there were trumpets in the original track, but I removed them and sent them to you. So
and just a message for everyone that's
on top of it.
A message for
I didn't put it in there because I would have been influenced by it.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, we wanted just Troy originals on there. No other bullshit.
Straight up. Yeah, but y'all, by y'all being videographers also. This track that I'm actually coming up with, it has that like West Coast LA vibe fused with that New Orleans. So maybe I could come out there and y'all could shoot the video for it.
Oh man,
we would absolutely love that.
When I was looking at the last video, man, it's like I think there's something we could do for sure, and I would love to move down that road at some point. Now, I think there's a lot of art that we can create between the two realms, you know, music and
let
film.
me tell you something. When I show you some of the music videos that ASAP here has already been responsible for shooting, your jaw's going to drop and you're going to be like, oh yeah, I want that guy shooting my next video.
Coming to Los Angeles, man, and then you're going to be like, you know what? Music NFTs, you pay for him to have a first class ticket with
Definitely.
I'm just joking.
No, he ain't.
All right.
True pleasure, man. True honor and pleasure. And
yeah,
looking forward to it.
Yeah, all good stuff, and we will definitely keep that conversation going off the air. And that's what I was going to say. You know, just a message to everyone that's listening today. Our show is called Sapo Studios Scratch Track Saturdays. Most Saturdays we do a jam session where we create what's called a scratch track, which it's not the finalized version of this song or loop, but it's kind of scratched out a demo of what this could and might sound like if it were produced into a song. And we've, created a lot of cool stuff on the show. If you've ever stayed for any of those jam sessions, sessions, they can go on for hours, and sometimes at the beginning it sounds like we're noodling around and creating nothingness, but then it does eventually, usually, turn into something pretty cool. And that track that Troy loved, that we sent him to collaborate on, is something that came out of a scratch track session. So that's kind of a nice little promotion for the future. If any of you are out there listening right now, and maybe you usually tune out after the interview, hop in for one of our jam sessions and see what that's like, because it's pretty cool what winds up coming together at the end of that.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Troy, thank you again. We're going to go ahead and play this jam session with you and Leon to play us out. And we'd love to have you back on the show at some point. We'd love to talk to you off the air about collaborating. And we're so happy to have you as part of the Notorious Frog community. Thank you for being with us.
Sure.
You're welcome. I'm down. That's all I got to say. I'm down. Let's make it happen.
Yes. Yes. All right. Thank you to our audience who, we could not do this show without. We appreciate you all being here and giving us your time on this beautiful Saturday, listening to Troy's awesome story and his great music. Join us next Saturday. Did I say next?
No,
I think I said next. I don't know. My brain's all over the place today. Join us next Saturday here on Twitter at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll have another Sapo Studios show for you. Very excited to be with you again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Here is Troy Sawyer and his cousin Leon Bridges jamming it out to close out the show. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Much
love
love.
you. Sapo Studios out.